Welcome to Off the Glass and On the Record. I'm your host, Keith Williams. Got my partner in crime, Lisa Jean. Today I got a good one for y'all. I got family with me. I got a full circle moment. I got my man Chris Monroe. How you doing, Chris Monroe?
I'm glad to be here with y'all.
Hey, this is one of my number one arch nemesis one-on-one. We're going to get to that. But we definitely used to get into, and we played a lot. So we got a lot of stories. But
For sure.
real quick, tell us about how you came up, Chris. From let's say elementary on. Talk to me.
So, I live, I came from my mom, single mom. Mom's
Yeah.
real good.
It's my girl.
Yeah.
Shout out, mama.
Yeah, Miss Barbara. So I grew up over there in Hyattsville, over there off of Riggs Road. So that's, that's when we ran into Sweat and all them guys down there. And then, my father, he lived in Tacoma, over there in Tacoma Park, so that's the Uptown vibes.
He a legend up there at Tacoma Park.
Yeah, Tacoma Station, Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I was split between those two areas, was raised with my mom, and, I bounced from elementary school, went to Ridgecrest, went to a private school, St. John's de La Salle over there off of Chillum Road, and then, went from there, went to Hyattsville Middle. My mom was like, look, Catholic school is great, but you need to get a little dose of real life, so you need to go out there and really see what it's like. So I went over there, went to Hyattsville Middle, was there for a little bit, and finished up there, and then that's when, basketball really kicked in, and started, and, I was one of those guys that, from a hooping standpoint, went to all the courts, went to Green Meadows, Riggs Park, down Langley Park, anywhere that we could walk to, we was tracking just to get that bump. So, that's how, I kind of got my bones into the things.
Please.
Well, so after middle school, you ended up, what high school did you end up going to?
So originally I went to Springbrook.
For a year or so?
Yeah, for a year.
Okay.
So originally I went to Springbrook, and how that worked out was there was a guy by the name of Tim McKenna who was the assistant coach at Good Counsel at the time. And I was at Rolling Crest Community Center. That's where we used to.
That's a nice rec center too.
Man, when they added the splash pool, it changed everything. We used to have access to the splash pool later.
Yes. Keep that low.
So Tim McKenna worked at Rolling Crest Community Center. Me and a good friend of mine, Ronnie Roman, were always up in there. We were playing. We always played up, so we played in the rec leagues. He saw us, and but I had already a connection with the Silver Spring Blue Devils. So that's Treon Bridges and Rob Jackson.
Jackson.
Yes, sir. That's my guy.
The founder.
So with Rob Jackson, we had a connection straight to Springbrook. So that was with Treon Bridges, Shaq, Omar, and Joel Salby.
Yeah.
And so right there they would promise me, hey, listen, you come here, you're going to play varsity right away. Cool. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go there and play varsity right away. Went to Springbrook.
Now, hold on. Now in middle school, because you end up being playing the power forward, were you, because of your strength, were you always pushed to playing under the basket more so than on the perimeter, or did that just happen in high school?
For sure, because of my strength, because of my size, I grew fast, right? Yeah. So I was a big kid early, right? Okay. And so I was always working out, doing things like that, lifting with the guys at Rolling Crest. So I was always big at the time, and so one of the things that ended up happening was I always played a big position. Yeah. Through AAU, through that whole circuit. And so it wasn't until later that I really started progressing due to size, due to what you needed to do to get to that D1 level. I had to start making transitions. So from that standpoint, from being like in a big position, I kind of owned it, right? Yes. So I found ways to make things happen. That's where I fell in love, and I started looking at the NBA at certain players like Charles Barkley.
Yes.
Those guys, undersized guards undersized bigs / guards that can get it done underneath the basket at the same time. And then I started learning my history, Adrian Dantley and guys like that were just so, gifted in that
really
way.
Gifted, yeah.
And so,
so go back to where you were.
So Springbrook played. Hold on, I got a quick parent moment real quick. Cruz. Thank you. So Springbrook. So Tim McKenna saw me there. he had a connection to the council, which I'll talk about. Springbrook was through the Blue Devils.
Okay.
So that's where I went there. And because it was the whole, we wanted to keep kind of the guys together. Me and one of my good friends, Ronnie, wanted to keep the guys together. It was like, we're going to go there, we're going to dominate, we're going to do our thing, following the footsteps of Triana.
So just to quick pause, it wasn't your neighborhood school.
No,
it wasn't.
no,
so
no.
At that time, were y'all allowed to go to different public
No, so
schools
we
like
lied,
that?
so, yeah.
Okay, now say no more. Say no more.
So it's the truth.
Say no more.
So
It's the truth.
So my mom, because of things that I had done and people I was around
Yeah.
since I was younger, my mom never really wanted me to go to any kind of neighborhood school, right? So that's, I could have went to Coolidge. Nah, you ain't going to Coolidge. You could have went to, on her side, Northwestern or High Point. Nah, you ain't going to there because I know you gonna get in trouble. So my mom was a curator and constantly was trying to pick, like, I need to get him out
The
the
best
neighborhood. I need to
case
put him in
scenario,
situations
Okay.
where don't nobody know him. And so that's how I ended up going to Springbrook.
Springbrook, that
So
was
Springbrook was
perfect.
tough because living over there, coming from my mom's house.
You had to
over
get
there
all
in
the way out there.
Hyattsville,
Yeah.
I had to get all the way out in
Montgomery
Montgomery County.
Yeah.
So I had to be up at like 5, take one bus up to get to New Hampshire. That New Hampshire bus used to take me all the way down to White Oak. Had to
Yeah.
get off and be there
Yeah.
for that bus pickup time, the school bus pickup time
Right.
at White Oak.
Oh, wow.
That early to be in school at 7:45. So I had to be there by like 7:15. So my mornings were starting early, and that's how I got used to it. So, it was a good thing of going out your neighborhood, and then it was a
Bad
bad thing
yeah.
going out your neighborhood. So me and my good friend Ronnie, we were making this trek out there, but we were two outsiders.
Right.
So we went there, and we was kind of we stood on our business and things of that nature, and one thing led to another. You had dudes, high school, the homerooms and stuff to claim. So we was kind of outside. We knew people there, but we was still outside. So we got in some trouble throughout that freshman year, to the point where some crazy things happened, and some crazy things happened that led to look, it's gonna go bad left, following school buses and doing things that we shouldn't be doing at that time.
Right.
And so at that point in time, it was like, well, we gotta leave, right? Y'all, the school principals, and it was like, listen, y'all high profile, y'all playing basketball, y'all doing this
Everybody,
and that.
they checking for y'all.
It's best that y'all leave because of the things that were going on in the school at the time. So we left Springbrook, and that's where everything kind of changed. Tim McKenna came in. He was like, Chris, we got an opportunity for you to come to good counsel. We want you. So me and Ronnie thought we were going to go together. No, that ain't happened.
Business now.
It was like, they were like, we can take
want
one,
you.
we'll take you.
Yeah.
So then that left my brother Ronnie going over to Dunbar. So he went from there instead of going over to Dunbar, doing this thing up there at that point in time at Dunbar. And then he finally, by that 10th grade year, that 7th grade, he ended up getting paralyzed. He was in there, and that's where you see stories of, you probably see some stuff like me. He was always the guy on the sidelines. He was wheelchair paralyzed. So he was really a motivation factor for me. And then, that's where my story began.
So tell us about 10th grade good counsel. Now this was a change because you were always in a public school. And shout out to your mom for trying to put you in the best position. I think people don't say enough things. People always say women can't raise a man, but sometimes they forced to do it so they can do it. And obviously your mom did a great job. But tell us, how was that now going to private school up Good County? And you still had to travel.
Yeah, still had to travel. So, I went from one end of Montgomery County being
the
over
other.
there to the other, to in Wheaton. So I had good thing is I had a good sister. Her name was Alicia. She lived in Greenbow. So she would sometimes pick me up on the way there.
Okay.
And, and Tim McKenna would sometimes bring me home. Otherwise, I would have to get on the metro. But literally, I was at the Good Counsel all day because you had to get there in the morning. And then also on the flip side, you had to stay there for practice afterwards. So you were there, and I wasn't getting home until late. But, it was part of the journey. It was part of what I wanted. And one of the reasons I wanted to go to Good Counsel, and I liked that idea, is the math was right around the corner, but they had a lot of folks up there, the Keith Bogans and things that me and Bo know each other for a long time, and it was like, we played similar positions at that point in time. I'm always rooting. And so St. John's was in the city a little too, so I said, all right, cool. Good Counsel was there. I knew some people that were there already. You had guys like Thomas Treadwell and things of that nature, and Kevin, blanking on his last name, but there was good guys that I
Some
saw
good
that
players
was playing, and so I saw their successes, and I was like, okay, yeah, dope. I can go here and play. So I went there, and yeah.
So did you come in right away as a 10th grader to contribute, or
Yeah.
you had to right away?
Yeah, I
off
came
the
in
bat?
right away. Like because coming from this area and this environment, if you played on one of the top teams in the area, we always played up. So I was used to playing against older guys, and a lot of the older guys that I was looking at, like I'm used to bumping against grown men and guys that already had names for themselves. And for me, I was like, man, look, man, I mean, whoever they got in front of me ain't better than me. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to go in there. So I came in that mentality, like I'm taking it.
So did they still kind of play you on that inside position, playing on that like 4 or whatever? Okay.
So they put me in that position, that forward position. I was efficient at it. I was a sophomore in the WCAC. I think my sophomore year I averaged 16 as a sophomore.
That's strong, because I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What I did know, and you said and others, that you was the best takeout man in the country in high school. You remember telling people that? So when you said that, does that mean you never turn it over? Does that mean you got the ball out quick? What exactly does that mean?
That means I was going to take you out the game one way or the other. and not only that, I was big. Like I think it was a source of pride when he was playing. And maybe the game's different now, but anybody stealing the ball from you, blocking your shot, taking anything away from you,
Felt that like
I felt disrespected in that way. So you're not taking nothing away.
Say that again, because I don't think kids understand that. They take turnovers like it's just part of the thing.
Or
Say it again.
they're afraid to get their shot blocked. Like it's like, oh my God, it's like the end of the world.
Yeah,
like,
no, you got to play through it. It's going to happen. You're going to play the game of basketball, and your shot's going to get blocked. Somebody's going to steal the ball from you, but you are not going to take it from me. You know what I'm saying? So that means if you block it, I'm going to come right back at you. Now got a target on your back for just blocking my shot, right? You got a target now for stealing the ball from me. So if you got one on me, I'm going to get two. You know what I mean? So these are the kind of things, and I just took it personal because it meant, if I had the ball and had possession, it meant that much to me.
So 11th grade, take us through 11th grade.
So
because that's a lot. You have a 16 as a sophomore, so
16 as a sophomore.
Wow.
how'd you guys finish in the WCAC?
I can't remember. We was always top like four. Top 4.
Yeah.
I think So at this point in time, it was like, all right. I was coming there. I was coming to Good Counsel. I went there, and in my mind, I still had my AAU friends in mind, right? So it was like 10th grade. I'm like, all right. Who can we add here? So, I reached out to, a couple other of my guys who lived out there. So one guy, Pat Mitchell, he played at Gonzaga, big boy, because I wanted to create our starting 5
So you were recruiting.
So I was doing.
So you was GM.
Yeah, I was GM, trying to GM stuff because I was like, we could put together a team here. But a lot of our kids that were on Silver Spring Blue that was lived in Montgomery County. So you had A.J. Harris, who ended up going to college in Charleston. He was our point guard since I was 11 years old. He was at Monroe. Why are you going from Montgomery County down to Monroe when you got one of the schools that you pass
Right
by
there, every day.
plays in the best league in the DMV? Why not? So made a pitch to him like, man, you need to go ahead and rock with him. I'm here. Same thing with Roger Mason. Roger was living in Gaithersburg, but he was going all the way to Sidwell. Why? Right? So why not come here and rock with me? Right? So then we already had Earl Hunt, who ended up being Brown's all-time leading scorer.
Met Earl's kids.
He was already there.
Okay.
He was already there. So we had pieces of the puzzle, and I played with Earl. I had Earl, who I'd known since I was like 8, 9, 10, playing 3-on-3. So I already knew he could hoop. So if he would give me that's all I needed out of it. We had also, guys like Eric Wells that we played with that was out in Montgomery County. He was going to something like, look, come on here and make it. Let's.
So how did that 11th grade you had of that squad look?
Just the names I had. So
Solid,
it ended up being Raj ended up coming, AJ ended up coming, Earl was already there, myself, and then all we was missing was really a big. They had bigs there, but we had Zach. Zach, his dad was an AD. He ended up playing in the NFL, so he wasn't really a basketball guy, but he was 6'8". He had good size. And then we had Joe Truey, who was also, he had 6'7", long length, but we was missing that big. We had the guards showed up, so we could mess with anybody in the city.
So how'd you do that year, 11th grade year? You averaged 16, it's sophomore year.
So I came back around, and I was around 18, 19, my junior year. with them at that point.
The stack team, more
Yeah,
or
we
less.
had a
That's
team.
good.
But everybody, I mean, we knew each other. We knew how to play. So AJ was a facilitator. Great point guard. Couldn't trap him fast. Handle the ball. He was a lefty. You know what I'm saying? He could see the floor. He knew where I was going to be out there with his game. You had Roger Mason, who y'all know already.
Shout out to
NBA.
Roger. Roger, you never beat me in a one-on-one. Just letting you know, you made the NBA. You never beat me.
So we got Roger. We got Roger. Roger, you know, sharpshooter. You know what I'm saying? 6'5", can handle left, right. You know, athletic. You know, so he had a little barrier, could run the point when needed. So you know, Roger was there, and then you had Earl Hunt, who was basically he was a bucket. He gives you Paul Pierce vibes. He wasn't as tall, but you weren't gonna steal the ball with him. He had a high IQ. You know, Earl gonna get me for this, but he wasn't athletic like that. He'll snap the glass real hard, but you know, he'll make his point that way. But yeah, he's a Earl.
He ended up going to Brown.
He ended up going to Brown, being their all-time lead scorer. But Earl was efficient. He had the best mid-range out of all of us. And then it was myself, where I just knew where the basket was. I could put the ball in the bucket. I was athletic, and then I was kind of, I made my presence known out there. Some people call it being an enforcer. I just call it standing on business.
And you stuck without your same AU team throughout high school?
Yeah,
Okay.
we standing.
They were the family, Blue Devils.
They
They
was
ain't
stuck
going
with
away.
you know,
It was a
well,
family.
back then they weren't changing AU teams like they are
And
now.
they wasn't changing. We
Nah.
walked all the way through. Our coach ended up was Steve Turner, who was
Okay.
as successful as he was at Gonzaga. We gave Steve Turner his first national championship on the AAU circuit.
Wow.
When AAU was different. Now everybody can just pay to go down there. You find teams. Before it was you had to go through regionals. You had to really
Yeah,
earn
the
your right
proper
to
way,
be there.
the proper
Yeah, the
way.
proper way. Now this AAU stuff is just anybody can show up, take the bus drive down there with a bunch of kids and just go down there. But,
So
yeah.
now take us into your last year recruiting process. Any schools start coming towards you your senior year? How did that go?
So all the way up until probably the summer of my coming into my senior year, the summer of my junior year, I had a lot of mid majors. A lot of people at that point in time didn't know what to do with me, right? So I could guard all positions, but yet I was an undersized four. They never really seen me. The system wasn't, really showing that. Me and Coach McCall butted heads a little bit about that because, I felt like, man, just put me out there and put me in different positions. He had his system, and I was like, that system wasn't benefiting me in the totality of things, right? So, but the AAU circuit allowed me to showcase. So Steve Turner allowed me to showcase that guard. So the first thing was what was the gentleman's name that used to run Kennedy?
Eddie Saw.
No. Before him,
Oh, you talking about
Jeff
Brooks?
Jeff Brooks joined his team.
Nike guy.
We went down there, Nike guy, because we was Silver Spring Blowers was sponsored by Nike at that point in time. We went down to the Peace Jam. Me and Omar Weaver. We went there in 6-man team, blew it up. We were killing it, right? Then I had to join my team at the Nike Showcase down there at the ESPN Worldwide of
Yeah,
Sports.
Florida.
Went down there, so had coaches, had people showing some interest down there. We went down to the Nike Showcase, and this is where like I raised a lot of eyebrows. We played a lot of teams. We played Steve Blake and then with Casey Sanders that ended up going to Duke. We had Yao Ming down there. We had a lot of different people. But at that point in time, like I kind of went off, and our team was guys that in the area that people know: Roger Mason. I think it was like Nate Green, Tommy McCluskey, Pat Mitchell, Eric Lump. We had a good mob in there. Roger, of course. And so we went down there, but we went down there with probably 7 players, and we just rocked out. So we were killing the whole tournament. I was probably averaging 30 plus.
Was that when y'all was riding the van?
Riding the van.
Riding the van. So the kids don't know. So who had to ride in the wheel well? Who y'all put in the wheel well?
What
See,
is
people,
that?
these kids don't.
Oh, in the middle.
All the seats.
Yeah.
No, that's when all the seats. When all you got is the wheel well and the door. We would take kids to Florida like that, and 2 kids would be right. It's not a seat. They just on the ground.
Yeah.
So y'all only had 7, so y'all was good.
We was good. We was good.
Which parents was making the food? Was y'all still bringing the sandwiches and all that?
With sandwiches,
Yeah.
But it was different. I remember to this day that everybody looked at us crazy, but we stayed consistent with what we did when we was young in the AAU. Like when we used to came out of AAU, we all stayed at the same hotel. We stayed at the same hotel, and we got up in the morning. We had our own rooms. Kids were in their room. They weren't with their mommy and daddy. They were in their room. coaches kind of, said lights out.
That's it.
And wake up. It's no different than college. When we get up in the morning, we up at 6. We running our miles. And I think it was like strategic warfare because a lot of these parents come down, they think it's a vacation.
Yes.
For us, it was something serious. We come down there, they made sure we had on these gray sweats. We running, we sweating, we coming down, running a mile, coming back down. Parents are just coming down, waking up, eating breakfast. We coming in straight off the sweat, and then we used to make a bump in the go-go when we come into the parking lot, doing the whole kind of thing. It was fun. But so we ended up going to the going down there, and at that point in time, I was on a mission. Like, I felt disrespected. You know what I'm saying? Like, people saying, well, we're not sure.
Because you did so much.
Listen, there was a lot of people at the time. I mean, because you had Newport
that's
popping.
That's DJ and
DJ,
them,
Eric, TJ Thompson.
TJ.
They had a mob over there. And, I'm still like, I ain't never lose to nobody.
Right.
Like, ain't nobody like, what? I'm putting up numbers. If y'all want numbers, I gave you numbers. What you want to do? I want a winning team. Everything that a coach or a program says we want, I gave you a winning team. I gave you numbers. I wasn't a trouble kid. You know what I'm saying? You ain't had nothing on me. My name was clean. So what we talking about?
Right.
So we so I went down there. We had the tournament. I'm blowing things up. I'm talking about 25, 32s, 35s, 38s. I'm killing. I don't know.
Say the numbers again.
Like 25, 32, 36. I was all over there. I averaged over 30 up until I twisted my ankle right before we played Yao Ming and them team we lost at the semifinals down there. One reason we lost is I was hurt. We couldn't go full fledged. But yeah, so that made a lot of noise. And then at that point in time, I remember the game that I led a comeback on. We were playing Casey Sanders and Steve Blake and them. We were playing up there. I look up in the stands to see Tubby Smith, Coach K. I seen all the coaches. I'm like, yeah, and this is supposed to be a guy. Casey Sanders was a 6'11" dude who's supposed to make a win. I remember to this day, man. We turned that game around. I ran off a bunch of buckets. We had some key stuff. And then, I remember Tubby Smith saw me in the hallway and probably said, son, keep doing what you're doing. I like what you're doing. That kind of put battery in my pack. So in Kentucky, so then I'm like, all right, cool. We go to the next game, I kill, and then, I end up getting hurt. And then, that's
Who was your first official offer, if you remember?
I ain't really pay attention to none of them because I ain't like none of them. You know
one
what I'm saying? Like all these mid-majors, like that's cool, But after the Nike showcases, you started seeing West Virginia's, the Marquettes, there's some of the other schools coming in, and then I think a lot of coaches wanted to see that next move. So this is back when they had the Charlie Weber tournament.
Charlie Weber was popping. Shout out to Charlie Weber. Huge tournament.
So coming back off of that, I felt like we left some unfinished business on the table, right? I got hurt down the Nike showcase. We back here again. So we down there, I'm killing. And I had met Bonzi Colson at the time, who was coaching at GW. He was part of that Tom Pender's transition team.
But hold on. Let's talk about the local big schools like Maryland, Georgetown, like
Nothing.
So Georgetown, coming out that year, I got wind that, because I used to go to John Thompson's camp all the time. Found out they didn't have no scholarship, but John's a big, so I had to be a guard. So it was a total dynamic there. Maryland was throwing hints, but they ain't never bite, right? So I ain't really get the bite from them because everybody was on Roger. So it was these same coaches they would come see Roger. He was 6'5", 2 guard. So that's why you got the ACC. All the ACC was coming to see him. They would see me in the game. They were like, we love him, but where we going?
What is he?
Where we gonna put him? We haven't seen him put work in as a guard at the same time. We believe he'll play. He can put the ball in the bucket. Size isn't a matter to him, so.
But that's crazy because you always had good. It's crazy how they evaluate kids because the reality is that you always had good form on your shot. It wasn't like you had some type of funky shot, or it wasn't like you was undersized, but you were sneaky athletic. I don't know if people realize how athletic you were, and a lot of people don't realize what athleticism is. A lot of people think it's only verticality, but quickness, strength, speed, you had all that. So I can't understand how they can miss you.
Yeah.
And you were if you were on a team, you were winning. Like
Yeah.
coaches want somebody that's gonna win. Like you win, you put up numbers, you play hard. Like you just didn't want to lose. So I wouldn't understand either how a coach look. I gotta have him on my team. He's a winner. He goes hard, and I'm gonna find a way to put him in position. Like that's crazy. They didn't think about that.
It was shocking to me because I was like, I won on every single level. You know, I'm a kid who won AAU national championships. I was at that point going into my senior year. I was a top 60 kid, right? Didn't have position, but I was a top 60 kid. I was I went to a school where if you're looking for admissions, I had the curriculum, I had the grades, right? So I did everything that you need to.
So how did you score? Let's go back. How did you score?
Oh man, listen.
And I know you did it within the offense. I know you wasn't jacking, but how did you score? Did you make jump shots? Were you posting up? Like what?
A little bit of everything, right? Okay. So you know, I made sure little things that kids can learn today. I ran the fast break. I understood who my guards were and what they like to do. So I understood the rest of my team. I understood the players and what they did well. I knew if Roger was open, he caught the ball on the wing, that shot's going up.
Yeah.
I knew the same thing with Earl. I knew that when AJ penetrated to the basket, oh my God, penetration, I knew what each person was going to do, and they kind of knew me.
Right.
So then I also, understanding my teammates, I also understood the coach's offense.
Okay.
Right. So understanding. Here's what I need to do: stay on the floor because you can't score if you're not on the floor.
Right.
And then on the flip side of that, I understood the offense of where I was going to potentially get the ball, or if there was a play call for somebody else, when he get the ball, what he going to do?
Right.
So I always put myself in a position like this ain't for me. I'm not going to sit here in the corner like a mad because the coach didn't call, give me the ball. I'm
gonna find my way to the action.
Yeah, most people shoot he shoot a 50% clip. I mean, this 50% that shit gonna come off the basket. So that means a chance for me to get a chance to do my thing, get a rebound, put the basket back in. So I kind of dissect the game that way. And then lastly, I would look at my opponents, right? I would look at my opponents and be like, how can this person guard me? How can that person guard me? What can they do? How they playing defense? Are they a zone team? Are they a man-to-man team? Like, what are these things? Where are my openings for this game? So that's how I will make it work.
So how did you ultimately choose GW? Because
So
you had a bunch of schools,
yeah.
Most of which you didn't like. What was it about GW that made you feel like this gonna be home for the next 4 years?
So Bonzi came to me after that Nike. I saw him at the Nike showcase. Then we went to Charlie Weber. Right? I had a chip on my shoulder. I was like, look, we had unfinished business. I was gonna win me the chip. So we went through that whole tournament, killing again, big numbers. But this time I was doing all this as a guard, as a three, because we were guard heavy, right? Yeah. 1 and 2. I was doing it as a three. Showing that I can get to the basket and create. Ended up going, we meet Joe Forte. Everybody know who Joe Forte was in high school. He was an animal. Met him in the championship. Beat them. Got MVP of the Charlie Weber, right? So now I got the MVP of Charlie Weber. I'm going, a lot of coaches are now hitting me up like, oh, this kid, he's a late bloomer. They made their offers. Some of the kids that they made offers to may not have it committed to them. So they're like, we're going to get this sneak. No, Maryland came late. Had conversations with them. A lot of other schools came late, but the one that was consistent, Bonzi, during that window between the showcase and the Charlie Weber, he introduced me to Tom Pennis. Tom Pennis was like, you and Sir Valiant Brown are my guys. You're my first recruiting class. I run all motion. I let you flex and freelance.
No, he play fast.
He let you rock. So because of that, I was like, yeah, all right. That sounds like my own motion offense. Let's go. Get the ball, go, rebound, fast break, similar to AAU.
Yep.
And I can still do what I do. So when I had that meeting with him, I liked his style, I like what he's saying. I like that I was his number one choice. I'm not, you offer me late because you just didn't get the player you want.
Right.
You end up recruiting over me because you still gonna say, we still don't know what he can do. No, he was my guy. He said, Chris, I'm gonna let you rock out. So that's how I ended up choosing GW. And I had signed with GW. Once I signed with GW, we, of course, Good Counsel had that historic year, the best year that they had. We were ranked top 5 in the USA Today. Okay. We were number 1 in the DC area for 20-some weeks. And the only teams that beat us were at that point in time was Rice that had Andre Barrett and Kenny Satterfield. Mm-hmm. We lost to them. And the only reason we lost to them, we went double overtime because Roger had broke his thumb. Then we would have been, I think we were a top 3 team in the country outside of Oak Hill and them. Then we came back. We beat we sold out the Smith Center. So once I signed to GW,
they was there.
That marquee game came about. So typically they have those key marquee games of the WCAC at Catholic University, but because I had signed,
they changed it.
They changed it to this one, which GW holds about 5,000. So GW had 5,000 seats. We sold that out, line wrapped around the corner. The first game we played DeMatha, I ended up dropping 32 on them. We won. Tubby Smith, everybody, the coaches there. The next game came back. DeMatha came back and beat us, and we lost. But I had like 18 that game. And then so the stage was kind of set, and a lot of schools started trying to say, hey, to get us out of the actual, get me out of my actual verbal commitment with GW. But I stayed the course. And then of course, once I got the Capital Classic MVP, everybody was like, what's up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's up? What we doing?
Right.
So.
Lisa, real quick, tell our listeners about Pure Fuel.
Yes, the Pure Fuel. That's the official drink of our podcast, Off the Glass. On the record is also the official drink of the Philadelphia 76ers and the Chicago Skies. Plant-based, no sugar. It's a great drink, and we trying to push it out, especially in the DMV area. So we'll have more of that for you guys in the area.
All right, back to you, Chris. So you get up to GW. Freshman year, what position are y'all playing? What position do they have you playing? Are you a 2 yet, or you still a 3?
I'm still a 3.
3.
I'm still a
some 4 or 3.
I'm a 3. So they threw me some 4. Some 4 I was out there, some 4. So it was. It was different. My first game was against with the boy from Oklahoma that went to the pro.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah, 6'7".
We went to Alaska Showcase, and that was the first game. And I remember my first.
That's a shootout. Okay.
Yeah. That was the first.
That was
time.
a nice tournament back then.
I got that first taste of it. So yeah, man, it was interesting. So I went up there. And,
how was that first game?
You got the nerves out. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But once I saw it, I'm out there playing. But let's take it back for a second because. Once again, I wasn't the size. I mean, I was high school 6'2" and some change, 6'2" and change, but I was 230. But I was all rock solid.
For sure.
So now I had to go through a diet change. I had to go through a bunch just to play. I mean, I remember Tom Penders getting on me, telling me, man, he said, man, Chris can't practice until he get it shaken. Cause my lower back was killing me. I was carrying too much weight, so.
So that summer going into your freshman year, you had to make some changes.
I had to make some diet changes. I had to make a lot of changes because I was built different. Like I was built like a middle linebacker versus a basketball player.
Right.
And so AAU, they don't really when you playing, you don't really get the vibes of like how this stuff is. But man, that boy too. I mean, I'm talking when we were all season running. My back was locking up on me.
So you had to shed that weight off.
Yeah, I had to shed that weight.
You had to do extra too.
I had to do extra. I remember, man, they wouldn't even let me touch a basketball until to that.
But how was that mentally? Like you pushed. I know you like, man, I got to get out here on this court. So you want to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, so
committed.
So that was part of it. So once I realized, I was like, basketball wasn't the issue. Like, all right,
you knew you could do that.
When in pickup games, I was already doing my thing. So I was like, all right, I'm good on this. But from a standpoint of me, like actually playing and the coach like locking in, so I remember Penny said, man, you're just about to lose. But I also had a good guard ahead of me, who spot I ended up probably taking after I went to Clemson, and I had like 20 something against Clemson my freshman year. Mike King. I mean, he was getting NBA looks. He was
from Baltimore.
From Baltimore,
yeah,
he was,
I remember.
6'5", 6'6", 6'5". He could, good mid range, lockdown defender.
Good player, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Pender's coming in. It was more free range system. Pender's system was a little bit different, I think, than it was a lot different than Jarvis's system. Yeah. So it was a little bit. But man, Mike was good. But in my mind, shout out to Mike King, but in my mind, I was like, I don't, not necessarily Mike King, but whoever was in that position in front of me need to come up off of it. You know what I'm saying? And that was the way it happened. So whether it be, and I don't care. And to me, it wasn't like it was like a lock in on Mike King or anybody else. I was just like, Coach, you can figure out, because I mean,
I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be out there. Yeah.
I don't care.
I'm not saying you guys sit Mike.
We can
go. I'm gonna be out there.
We can go big, we go small. I mean, look, what you talk about. So from that standpoint, I think that's how I ended up getting out on the floor. I lost the weight, started, and then once I started.
So how many games did it take you to start?
I think about 5 or 6. I got to look back, but it was like that Clemson game is the one, that kind of set it off. You know what I mean?
Y'all went to Clemson.
Yeah, we went to Clemson. We beat them in Clemson. I ended up having like 20 something, and then from there it was.
You didn't start that game though. That's off the bench.
That's off the bench, but it was no different because it was the same thing with the Capital Classic, right?
Yeah,
I remember I Coach Lou. I don't know if there was
Coach Lou from PG.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Lou Wilson.
Lou Wilson, that's my coach. I'm like, man, I felt like I should have started. I'm seeing Reese Gaines. I'm seeing all these Georgetown and Maryland commits, and I'm like, they're not even really local like that. They just come into a local school.
Right.
1, 2. You had on that team Rodney White, Roger Mason, myself, Val Brown, Brian Chase, Derek Payne.
I was stacked.
Like we had them out. We were going against Jason Williams, Jason Gardner, Samuel Delabo, Nick Collinson.
Nah, they was stacked.
So they had it stacked. Oh, Nick. So I'm like, we had it stacked. So we're going against the National. This was when. So I remember coming off that bench in the Capital Class before I got to GW. And I was like, man, I'm feeling disrespected again. Like these people still ain't getting the message, right? So we down, and there's a whole thing about this. We were down like 24-4 before Lou put us in the game. And who we put in the game?
24-4.
Listen, Jason Williams, Jason Gardner, they had us 24-4 in that game. Then Lou put us in, put me, Val, I think it was Chase, somebody else came in, and Derek. Man, we came in there, we straight winning. No respect. You know what I'm saying? Jason Williams, I apologize to them. He caught an elbow. It ended up on the Washington Post, but it was fun. But me and Jason Williams ended up splitting the MVP for that game. I ended up having 20 something. But here's the crazy thing: 16 or 14 or something. I said I don't know if the record still holds. I thought I saw it, but I hold the free throw record for the Capital Classic. Free throws made, free throws attempted, 1 or 2, and then I ended up. Me and Jay Williams, I think we both had 24 or 22, something like that. Okay. And we split in the co-MVP. But, yeah, I did that off of the bench. You know what I'm saying? Just put the ball in my hand.
Well, let's stop right there. A lot of people don't realize, not just here, but in the world, like, the Capital Classic was so big for our era because we were willing to say the world against just this area.
100%. You had to put a team from Cali, Texas, all these players coming to come play just
the best.
And here's the funny thing about it: you didn't even have all the best on the team. We were missing.
They would pull whoever's going to Maryland. Yep. They would put them on. So the
even if I'm not from the DMV area, I might be from Philly going to Maryland. They still put you on the local team.
They put you on the local. But here's the crazy thing about it: they kept some of the locals. So they, you have key guys like Roger Mason and Rodney White started. Of course, they were at that point. Both of them were in the top 30, or those. And I think at that point in time too, the McDonald's Classic, you had at that point Adidas and Nike had their own games.
Yeah,
McDonald's had their game. Yeah. So you could only play in 2 All-Star games. Yeah. So when I say the Capital Classic didn't end up having our local talent wasn't all on that squad. We were missing. If you want to talk about, we were missing DeMar Johnson, Keith Bogans, and Joe Forte.
Yeah.
We could have filled a mob that would have been we should have been in that because we would have filled a mob that could have been
anybody in the country. Yeah, easy.
So but at the end of the day, it worked out how it did, and then I think if all those guys were on the team, I wouldn't have been able to shine the way I did. So it all worked out, ended up getting MVP, showcasing that talent, and then I went to GW, and then kind of of my own making with GW, I wasn't able to start because I wasn't in the best shape.
Yeah. Right.
So I had to sit back.
You worked towards it.
I had to sit myself down, work it out. Had to cut my diet. Said, look, no. I had to cut out red meat. I had to cut out all these things to try to trim and lose, mass, not so much
fries,
fat, but
none of that.
I had to lose all that. So then after that Clemson game, history was history at that point.
So what did you finish up averaging as a freshman?
Same thing as as a freshman. As a freshman, it was 16. As a freshman, I averaged 16.7. I was 17.2.
And you started off
the bench.
not scoring as much at first, right?
But
so you picked it up, crazy.
I picked it up, but I also did it in conjunction with Sir Valiant Brown, who was averaged 20. My freshman year,
he was going crazy.
Me and Sir Valiant Brown were the top two backcourt top three scoring backcourt in the country. You had, us, because Val was averaging 24, and I was averaging 16, 17 points a game, got that we combined for like.
Now that had to be like the greatest at that time, greatest freshman duo.
Yeah,
ever.
like we were throwing up numbers crazy, and so I did my average with that with no one because Val Brown was getting up reps.
Nah,
you know what
he's
I'm saying?
jacking.
Yeah,
Val, you was jacking.
Val,
So the-
Val was- he ain't see a shot. He ain't like
Nah, never.
And look, and the coach too gave him the green
Nah,
light.
nah.
So the end of that freshman season, all rookie team, rookie of the year, anything.
I think it was like
All
on the rookie
rookie
team.
first,
Yeah, like I
okay.
was on the rookie team. I think an all conference. I wasn't even. My mind wanted to settle on that because we were looking at next year like.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Alright.
ready to really do it now.
What we gonna do? I know I made all something, but my mind like that. If it ain't talk about league, then
Yeah.
like, ain't,
Sure.
We ain't talk about nothing.
I'm still in
Yeah.
the top. At that point, the A10 was a top
Super
five,
strong, yeah,
like
conference,
top
yeah.
5, 6 conference. So I was like, if it ain't talk about league, ain't. So then you that following year, Val's come off the hype. A lot of people come to see Val. They compared him to AI.
Yep.
I was just
Wow,
playing
he
my
was
part.
that.
Yeah.
Man, he was
He was.
boogieing.
Wow.
And I mean, I think that year, our freshman year, we beat Maryland. It was either our freshman or sophomore year. We beat Maryland at the BB&T Classic.
y'all did. Yeah,
so
y'all did.
and I guess my brother Lonnie. We
Yes,
talked
the
Lonnie,
homies,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Juan and all my good brothers. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. It was good battles, but yeah, those games were raising our level as who these two city boys, and I loved it because everybody asked why'd you choose GW. I was like I wasn't going nowhere else. In my mind, I wanted to 3 schools. It was 3 schools coming up. There's 2 schools coming up. As a kid, you only think about Georgetown and Maryland, right?
Yeah.
And then I didn't know about GW until I was in high school because they were making that run with Shantae Rogers and Jarvis going to the tournament,
Jarvis
losing
did a
to
great
Duke
job,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. So that year before I came, they had just lost to Duke or Indiana, one of them two in the NCAA tournament. So I was like, oh yeah. They're in the top league. You just had Lamar Odom's come out of this league. You had Makitino Mobley come out of this league. You had a lot of guys that come out of that made it to the league. So yeah, why not?
So sophomore year, you averaged.
So sophomore year averaged like 18 something.
How was the team?
Team, it was good. But
Val only played that year, and that was it, right?
that was
played
it.
2
He
years.
declared for
the draft,
the year.
yeah.
The draft the year. But
He only played 2 years
he
in
only played
college.
2 years. He played 2 years.
Made some mistakes.
Made
Made some mistakes.
Those are you should have Val on here because
Yes.
we used
Definitely need a call. Reach out to him.
Yes, because at that point that year it was on that team. It was me, Val Brown, Attila Cosby. Just us 3 alone. Like that
was enough.
We had,
Yeah.
and I mean we was all over the place. Like
Y'all always finish top 5 in the A10 at least.
No.
Not that.
That year we like top. We when the season was finished, we finished about top 5, like
Okay.
the tournament.
Wow,
but
tough
and
conference.
that year we almost beat Temple. I still get on Lynn Greer about this because we had him. Lynn Greer do his famous pump fake.
Yeah.
We knew who was going to shoot it.
Break that last break to talk about that. From that point on, what happened? The game's tied. What's going on?
So we at the A10 tournament. We had just beat like the top seed. So
This your sophomore year?
This is my sophomore year.
Okay.
This is where like, oh man, we gonna go to the tournament. Val lighting it up. I'm lighting it up.
Right.
We got a Till out here. So we playing Temple, who we already beat, John Chaney team. And,
He going crazy.
He going crazy. So we got it. We up. The ref make a bad call. They in the Temple getting the ball, but we knew who was gonna get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So Patrick Ngumba, his son is at Duke now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Pat, my guy. Look, he just I don't know. Some people
What
just
he was
don't listen to
thinking.
her. In the hub, we said, listen, they're gonna do a pick and roll with Lynn.
Okay.
They need a 3. You know what I'm saying? To basically go up. Basically, Lynn ain't gonna go for 2. He gonna go for.
Ain't gonna shop.
He gonna put. So same thing. Called play, but he came off the pick and roll. Gave Pat the. Pat came with the arms up.
A little crazy.
Listen,
Fouled.
so he get the free throw line. Everybody know Lynn Gray. He ain't missing the
No,
free throw. That man
no,
is
definitely.
money from line. So they ended up going up 1, and we ended up losing the game. But we had the game. We had the game. That would have probably changed the trajectory of GW
Yes.
because of what we would have probably been able to do in the tournament. It was so hard to play us because we were so unpredictable. You didn't know who was going to give you what.
Not, yep.
Attila could go off. Attila 6'9", 6'10", shoot the 3,
Energy
put the ball
guy,
off.
yeah.
And athletic. You had Val who could just, if he get hot, you in
It's
trouble.
over.
Then me, I'm just picking and playing like I'm gonna be efficient here. Give me the ball, get my ISO, take advantage of what I need to, and go from there. And we were dogs. You know what I'm saying? We took pride in defense. We had a guy by the name of Bernard Barrows out of Harlem. Picked up 94 feet. It's that pesky kid. So we was moving, and we had motors. Yeah.
You know what? It's funny we having this conversation because I don't think you got enough credit. You were a big part of the change of GW until obviously TJ and all them, and when they made a nice run after y'all. How do you feel about that? Because you were a big part of that. It started right before you, but then you had those strong 4 years. It's really just you.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
So I look at it a couple of different ways. Like I could have, going into that so many years, like I put in the work with the team. I want to stay local. I stay at defend Tom Pennis to this day. You know, Bonzi coaching, the coaching staff, they rock with me. I rock with them. Just a loyal kind of dude that way. And so, you know, coming up through there, GW was coming off success. You know, you're going through a coaching change. Jarvis went to St. John's, and then Pennis coming in. He left Texas, coming there. And so, you know, we kind of building that up. That was Pennis' second year. So after 3 years, I believe they let him go. But there was a lot of off-court stuff that kind of like push things the wrong way for GW. And I mean, you know, you just you had a bunch of guys that just, you know, it was at that point in time, I was like, if they knew who we had on this team, like we had no issue. It was one of those teams. So we loved each other, we rocked out. But when they left, this was a pivotal point for GW after my sophomore year. So when Pennis left, everybody left.
I was gonna say, what made you stay? So you end up being stuck with these young guys coming in. So what made you stay?
So here's how that played out. So what made me stay was, one, I wanted to be local, right? I wanted to stay local. I still felt like the A-10 could get me where I needed to go. I felt like with the new relationship that we had, all those players that we had coming in from Team Assault, I already had TJ coming in with me, right? So
shout out TJ.
TJ Thompson.
Coach of Rutgers.
Yes, sir.
Still ain't got a Rutgers t-shirt, TJ.
You need to go drive him to see him.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see him.
Jersey Turnpike. So TJ came in. I knew if I had a good point guard, that's all thing. TJ was the kind of guard, man, that he could bring the ball against anybody. So I wasn't worried about that. You get him the ball, I could turn my back and not have to worry about him, you know, breaking pressure.
Right.
And he knew how to get me the ball. So, you know, that was like a little.
Well, you was bullying them too, though.
Huh? That was
the way it is, you bully. But we'll get into that later. Go ahead.
We're going to get into it. I'm let everybody know. Let everybody know what happened. So we get, you know, so that's so many years. So when everybody, so I was like, I got people coming in. Some people that were going to come in kind of backed out, right? I had no control about it. So then we just had, you know, and that's when Hobbs and Coach Pico, who was the head coach at Rutgers, Coach Brooks over there at Bowie State, and Carl Hobbs that came from UConn. And so then Coach Brodus, who was a local guy who I knew, was coming in.
It's at Morgan now, I think, right?
Yeah, Morgan, head coach of Morgan. Yeah. And so Brodus came in and, you know, connected with him right away. We had a similar people, we had the same background. So he's one of the reasons why he was probably the only reason that I stayed, even though I wanted to stay local, because I could trust in him. Yeah. Right? Outside of that, at that point in time, I had an offer to go to Notre Dame with Coach Bray. Coach Bray, back when I was
he was local too.
He was local, and he also had Kenny,
the Mather guy.
Yep, the Mather guy. So he was over there at Notre Dame, had a great relationship with him. You know, he recruited me when he was at Delaware, you know, and then he was like, yo, we want you. Come on. You know what I mean? And
they were in the Big East at the time, right?
Yeah. Wow. Big East. So he was like, come on. And I was like, my dad won't be able to come to my games. Everybody from my neighborhood won't be able to come see me play. I would have to sit out a year. Yes. Right? Which
they don't know about it, but they don't realize that now.
I would have to sit out a year. But even though in hindsight, for me to work with somebody on my guard work, it wouldn't have been that bad idea. But I was like, nah, I can still get it done now. So I ended up making the final decision after, to stay. Once I committed to stay, then I started seeing some BS from the GW coaching staff.
Okay.
Some stuff.
So at this point, going into your junior, you still had not met Keith yet.
No,
not yet.
Not till he finished.
Okay.
So great, junior year.
So junior year, I had my workout buddies. So I had TJ. We working on all season. Junior year, coming into that season, Carl Hobbs took the job. Carl Hobbs, as soon as I committed and talked to Brodus, some stuff went by. Then I just, he said some reckless stuff. You know, and you know they would kind of test like, you know, you ain't the guy that everybody say you is, that type of stuff. After I'm already proven in the A10,
Right, you and I did it.
You know, and that kind of stuff. And so, you know, I ain't really take too kindly to that. You know what I'm saying? So it was just another battery in my back to let me do what I need to do. And I remember going through that year. I think to talk about the journey. I think that year I averaged 21.
Wow.
You know, for the year.
Season.
And so, you know, I'm doing that. The whole year I had to deal with, you know, wait till my recruiting class comes in. Wait till this. You think this. You boom, boom.
Yet you're the team's leading scorer.
Yeah, I've been a team. I stayed. I could have left. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and if I had left, TJ would have never came.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I had a great, and another thing too, GW was great because I had a good working staff. I had a great from the athletic department.
They loved you down there.
In the athletic department, I had a great academic advisor, Karen Urkel. I had, you know, physical therapy with Chris Hensley. You know, I had a good, and I was home, so I had a support system. So when I was dealing with the BS with the coaches at that point in time,
you had different outlets.
I had different outlets.
Yeah.
I would, you know, we had housing all year round, but I would go back around the way,
I did.
get my mindset. So going into that year, so you know, fast forward, I averaged 21. You know, my junior year. 21 something my junior year. Going fast forward, then we come into, you know, I'm dealing with the coaches, talking about they're going to have this recruiting, do. I remember we had a game with UConn, and you know, he talking about, you know, this is, you know, these my guys, you know, I recruited them, I know that.
That's Rudy Gay and them?
Nah, this is, who is this? This is, I think it's Karan. It was Karan.
Oh, Karan Butler now, okay.
It was a shooting guard, it was another dude. Man, I'm like, I don't give a, like, I done seen the best in the country. Like,
this ain't nothing new to me.
And so, you know, I did my thing. You know, it got to a point where me and the coach was just like, he had to play me.
Yeah.
So I had leverage, right?
Well, they definitely said, now let me stop you. And they did say that you was bullying everybody because they knew they had to play you. Now, was you doing that just to be an asshole? Or it had to be some part asshole, but you knew the leverage you had in the situation.
My thing is, there was no reason. I ain't bullying nothing. I'm just standing on my business. I'm standing on. Well, first of all, any player that you brought in, he ain't earned his spot. I'm proving.
Yeah.
Right. For you to talk reckless to me like this, you ain't got no reason to do that. I ain't never disrespect you.
Right.
So now that's just like somebody just disrespecting you out of nowhere.
Right.
What I not do? You know what I mean? They tried everything. Had a guy the trainer try to break us, make us do like these roles and stuff. And I said, man, I'm not gonna let no man break me. You know what I mean? That we used to do stuff like that, man. Try to have you spinning, man. Like I run all the run. Look, I'm gonna run all the way through this thing. So I knew my leverage. I knew, we had a playoff, we just gonna lose. Plus, I also had a great relationship with the fans and everybody else. They're like, well, why are you not gonna play? It was
a community,
how can you not play them?
That was your community.
And it wasn't like I wasn't doing what the coach wanted me to do. But also, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna sit there and, you know, I've never had anybody put threats on me and, you know, and act like I'm gonna just sit here and take it just because you were, you know, I was in that mindset that I'm gonna show you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So hence that fast forward to going into the senior year. When you
senior year, who came? So I got a funny story they told me about you.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna give you the answer to that funny story.
Okay.
Right? So who came was Mike Hall, NBA with Washington Wizards.
Yes.
You had Pops Mr. Bonsu, who now is the president. He worked with the Knicks.
He was the African thing,
NBA Africa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had, and then a couple other people. And you know, we already had TJ there. Omar Williams out of Philly, 6'10".
I liked Omar.
Man, that man was mean. He was Magic Johnson in the living flesh.
Yeah.
And then they had a couple other guys coming, but those were the key component guys that came in at that point in time. Oh, and LaFontaine out of Baltimore, he came in there.
That's what, shout out to LaFontaine. That's my guy.
And here's the crazy thing. That's what I'm saying. These coaches were crazy. Well, Hobbs, I'm not even gonna say coaches because Brodus was the one that kept me sane, but. You brought LaFontaine and TJ and him played the same position. Yeah. They were trying to do, TJ didn't have
same thing to TJ.
They were trying to do what TJ is. I was like, okay, cool. Let me show you how I operate. Right? And so go ahead. Let me hear your story.
Well, here's the funny story to the guys. So the guys on the team, this is what they told me. They were tired of you bullying them. Mike Hall, you met him. Pops. So the word is they was going to jump you, right?
Yeah.
But everybody was afraid of who's going to be the first one to come because they knew the first person to try to come on, you'll get beat up.
Yeah.
Then why did they feel like you was bullying them, Chris? Why did they feel that way? Especially when you were smaller than all of them.
Listen, so by then I'm going into my senior season, right?
Right.
This is my last season. This is my last rodeo.
Right.
I don't know too many upperclassmen that's going to allow freshmen to come in and do what they want. Now the messaging that was given by the coach, like this is y'all my guys.
Right.
You, y'all gonna. Nah.
So you believe that's why they felt that way?
They came in that way instead of them coming in the right way. Like, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, we already got a leader in place.
Yeah.
We got do this. So no, you gonna fall in line. We can handle it like any way else is done when we coming up hooping.
Right.
Nah, we can go like y'all don't like what I'm saying to y'all. Do something.
So that's the ultimatum you gave them.
Listen. I'm coming in. They over there messing around. Like we gonna come in here. We gonna work on it. Like, listen. Pops, you're not a point guard. Stop bringing up the ball. We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Look, you're not shooting threes as a freshman. He can shoot them now, but as a freshman, you doing a pull-up. Coach ain't even going to allow you to do that.
But Chris, admit this though, Chris. You are a little different now. We're not going to act like you got a different way of doing it. I'm not saying wrong. I'm saying you can be a little different now. I'm not saying you was wrong.
Hear me out, Keith.
Okay.
Hear me out. My last year.
Okay.
Y'all coming in here. Y'all know y'all got 4 years plus.
Right.
I don't know y'all from now. I'm getting to know y'all.
Right.
This is how we going to operate.
So did you sit them down? Like, I'm trying to understand how this happened. Because listen to me. Even though you brought all them to me, these are the stories they telling me about you. They still have a slight animosity towards you.
Yeah, they can have that, but I put them in position to win. Just the same reason why I took.
But did you have a sit down? How did this come about?
I told them, hey, look, man, we not doing all that. Like,
okay.
This is what we doing. This is how we gonna operate. This is my locker room. You go to the NFL, you go to anybody. This is my locker room. You know what I'm saying? Like we not playing that. And if you don't like it, do something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I get it. You pretty much like, this your senior year. You don't have time.
I don't have time to play.
I'm going to bring y'all along with me. I just need y'all to follow me. Don't think you're just going to come in here and just do whatever you want to do.
Nah.
It's time. This I only got a year left. I just got something I'm trying to accomplish. But y'all going to eat too if y'all just follow in with me.
Look, I'm not taking nothing out of nobody, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, I'm like, listen, but when it came down to it.
Oh, my God, Chris.
Man, listen. If you can't get a bucket like that one-on-one right now, like you ain't got all that,
Get off of it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yep. You rebound, I'ma shoot, you rebound. You know what I'm saying? If you can't knock down a jump shot, find me. I know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Play D. That's it.
But the coaches knew they still needed you. No, like regardless what.
It was a mental game. It was a mental game. They was trying to get you to dumb down just a little bit,
you weren't.
So they could build up the kids.
But see, they didn't do nothing to build up the kids. I'm gonna tell you how I and can fact check it. Listen, you had a bunch of guys that weren't really like Mike Hall. He had heart. Like Mike Hall would meet anybody at the rim.
Yeah.
He was tough as nails. Pop, same thing. You know what I'm saying? But they still nervous when we coming and playing against us. I said, look, how about this? We gonna go down to farms. I used to put them on. So as much as they be like, oh well, we ain't trying. Man, look, I'm gonna put some back. I'm gonna get the city on their back, right? Look, I had the city. They going. I got the city on back. So I'm gonna put them on my back, and we gonna go down to farm. Farms. They started making names. Everybody knew Pops from the farms. Mike at farms. They started getting those names. So then from there, that's what happened. So when they did that, we got in. It was all they had a name. They had people coming to the games. Pops and them doing their thing. So yeah, so I think that did it. And then once I was gone, y'all got y'all sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Yeah.
Like let's rock out. And y'all know Coach was using me as a decoy. I still averaged 20 my senior year.
I was gonna ask like how that senior ended up going, even with all of that going into that year.
I still averaged 20, and that's probably due to my teammates. And I remember this, and this is how much they talk about it. And I give a quick story. We playing Xavier. It was on ESPN. They were ranked in the top 10. I remember Coach drew me as a decoy. I'm mad. This I'm senior year. You lead like how you want
Yeah.
do this? Give me the ball, right? They didn't. They called it for Omar Williams for a jump shot. He wasn't a jump shot shooter, but they called it for him, right? Omar, I love him to death, and this is how my teammates I rock me. Even though I was hard on them boys, it was hard. I was tough love. It wasn't like I was trying to do anything like to them like that way. Omar got the ball and gave it to me, disregarded the play. I looked at him, he gave it to me. I went, got a bucket, we up.
Okay.
They came down and they just hit they hit like David West played in the NBA for a long time. Tapped the ball.
Indiana Pacers.
His ass tipped the ball and it kind of like went in and it had to go for a rethrough. If ESPN wasn't there, we would have won that game, and I would have had that would have been my shot.
They went to the monitor to review.
Yeah, but my guys, my teammates, and I love them today. They all like little brothers to me. That's what I'm saying. I was hard on them, but it was love. And then they went on, the success that they had. Pops and them, they went on and had a great, amazing season.
Stop right there.
We gotta have a part two.
We're gonna have to have a part two.
This is
we gotta have a part two.
One is just not enough because I got some more. I got like questions.
That was good though.
I heard this milk story. Used to drink. After work, I used to drink milk.
We got
heard about
more.
that. So we gotta have a part two.
We got plenty.
This has been a
too
great
much.
story.
This was good. We ain't get into our stuff. Our wrestling matches.
Definitely gonna have a part two.
Definitely. Let me know, man. We can figure out the schedule and get you back in.
Typically Sundays, I think Sundays are good. I won't be here. I might be out of town next Sunday. I'll let you know, but kind of go from there.
All right, check this out.
Real quick, we're gonna close out the show. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Off the Glass on the Record. Also follow us on IG, OTGR Pod. Chris, what's your IG where they can follow you?
They can follow you
at Monroe 4.
Yeah, make sure you guys follow him. We will be back for a part two. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.